one not too far from here.
And what is going on YouTube? Just another gaming channel, bringing you just another video. So what do we have today? We have today's Destiny's Daily Heroic, A Rising Tide. I've not played this one in a long time, and I know anyone that's watched my Daily Heroics before, they'll know what I'm about to say. Well, no, actually, you've no idea. But anyway, I'm going to say it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is why putting up the Daily Destinies on YouTube is a great idea, because there's some nostalgia there. Again, it accesses missions that we will no longer play, because once you reach endgame content, you essentially do the same stuff. So it's nice to revisit older, older levels, and I think that's great. So, what shall we talk about today? Well, several things. First of all, as you've noticed from my new slick, snazzy thumbnail, I finally got. I got a version of Photoshop to work. Now, what I did is we're on Adobe Creative Suite 13, I think now is the current one. And I've installed Adobe Photoshop 5 for OS X, and it works. It just worked. It works. It's fine. It's great. It's so good. I'm using Grab to take screenshots or whatever I want. Open those in Photoshop. Just put on some borders and some text. I know. Right? I know I've got 2 degrees in design, so what I'm putting up is pathetic. But it doesn't need to be snazzy. No one would appreciate the design content anyway, unless the designers and wouldn't know what was done to the typography or anything like that. So it's just pointless. It's better. The thumbnails are now. There's words there. You know what it's about. It's hopefully more inviting. But oh my god, today, YouTube is a mess. I'm just starting out, but YouTube is an absolute fucking clusterfuck, isn't it? You've got Team Martin and Pro Syndicate. Hopefully, you're going to pay massive fines when they get sued, and fines to the government, and maybe even okay, this is going to. Right, okay, those 2 guys, I know they're massive YouTubers, a lot of people like them, so if I offend you, I'm sorry, but there's certain people on YouTube, big YouTubers, and straight away I know that they're not good people, and I don't sub to them. Straight away my gut's telling me these guys are dodgy as fuck. Like, T. Martin's attempt at an apology video is essentially a non-apology video. It's like, oh well, it was never a secret that I owned it. I'm sorry if you feel betrayed. It's like he's not actually apologising for tricking people into kids into gambling. And he's doing an apology video from inside his mansion with his cars and his jeeps, his like $60,000, $100,000 jeeps outside. It's ridiculous. Like, total disconnect on what's happening in life. When you become that big a YouTuber and the money involved, like, I don't understand greed, because I'm not a greedy person. Like, I've earned massive amounts of money in the past, and I've given nearly all of it away for years. I gave £30,000 a year away for several years, and kept just enough for my bills and my research during my PhD. I gave a homeless guy. I met a homeless guy selling Big Issue one day. I gave him a tenner for a copy of Big Issue, which I didn't take because I don't read it. And I just said, I'll keep the change, and that kind of got me into habit. So I gave him £10 every day for about 2.5 years. So about £70 a week I gave him. Other people, I paid rent for an apartment for 2 years for somebody that needed help. Then I paid my own rent, and I funded a master's degree. I funded, well, not my master's degree, somebody else. I've done some good shit for people, and. So to make it as that big a YouTuber and still be greedy and want more, to the point where you get someone to design a gambling site, a CSGO gambling site, and then lie about it. That is not a nice industry to be in anyway, is it? But then, like, lying about it, purposely omitting information. Like, even if they told the kids, that would be far more. It'd just be better. Kids, if you play CS:GO and you like to gamble, I've got this site I own. Go check it out. But instead they're lying. on screen they're winning like thousands of dollars apparently, you know. But you know, the thing is, they've got control of the back end of the site, they own it, and then suddenly, out of all the people that could be on there, Pro Syndicate and Team Martin end up doing a bet against each other. That's lucky, isn't it? And caught on camera as well, eh? Ooh, you know. I mean, Keemstar's getting reamed, you know, and yeah, he's another guy who, like, just dodgy as fuck. And I did sub for him for a long time because I, you know, apart from his intro, which I had to mute my computer every time I did his intro. But I liked the information in the news, but something felt wrong because the Drone Alert site has been actually taken down, as in terminated, at least over the last 3 years. Probably I can think about 5 separate times where the channel's just gone. It's not been hacked, it's not been, it's been taken down for breach in terms of service, but because it's a bigger channel, maybe they've got money for legal services or whatever, or they're partnered, I don't know, but the channel comes, it's back on, so Keemstar, all the shit about him, he's giving out people's information. They've been swatted 5 or 6 times, giving out YouTubers that he don't like, wives' phone numbers, people's addresses. There's all sorts of releasing private information about other YouTubers. He's just been doing a lot of shit. There's evidence of him being racist, telling all the fans how much he hates us all. Just been a real dick, man. And I mean, God, if my channel, if I start to put some effort in and start creating good quality content at some point, if my channel ever blows up and I get a following, am I going to be like that? Is it going to twist me to be an evil bastard, to not appreciate everyone that supports me, and like, the fact that I've got 35 subs I think is amazing. Like, I went from no subs to 35. I don't know how to get beyond that point, but seriously, that to me is amazing. Like, 35 people that could be bothered enough to actually think, oh yeah, saw something that I talked about, discussed. I mean, I've got ideas for different series, do I do a series about my insomnia, the fact that I only sleep 2 to 3 hours a week sometimes, the fact that I did 8.5 days, 240 hours awake solid, and I've done that several times, the fact that sleeping tablets don't work on me, nothing works, I just cannot sleep, the fact that I suffer from like severe depression, or the symptoms of, but as no medication has ever worked or treated it. I don't know if it's something else or I'm just predispositioned to being a miserable bastard my entire life. Do I talk about spending 6 figures? In fact, I've turned down 6-figure jobs so I can pursue my research and my education for no money, and my education's never really paid off. Do I talk about the fact that I've spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on my education, sacrificed relationships, my health? I've suffered from starvation, severe poverty, insomnia, depression, all at the same time while trying to do a master's degree, not having enough money to actually catch the train to go to uni, let alone feed myself. Do I talk about these things? Yeah, I don't know, but the fact that people either like my gameplay or find some of the content interesting enough to subscribe, and actually some people do watch. I've got 35 subs, but I only get a handful of views per video at the moment, which is fine, it's fine. I can't make everybody watch my shit. I mean, I'm subbed to like about 160 YouTube channels, and I know that there's only certain ones I watch. Like, some things piqued my interest at the time, so I subbed, but there's only like maybe a dozen or so channels that I watch regularly out of the 150. And I've done a little bit of research. I know that likes do actually get your favoured higher in the search engine. But so do dislikes. I'd rather you like my videos than dislike it. Dislikes don't have a negative impact on your channel. It actually, a dislike is better than nothing at all, because it's a response by the user to say that they've had an opinion on your video and watched it. So it goes in reference to the search engine. But it's such a mess on YouTube right now. I'm worried that, like, if I do start to seriously put some effort into coming up with ideas for videos, editing the videos in a cool way, you know, maybe even scripting what I say. I mean, like, believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe, but I believe personally that I have an ability to present videos in a really good way. I know my voice sounds monotone right now, but as a university lecturer, like I've edited and spent weeks putting together like say when I do a lecture that lasts an hour to like 200 master's students, that might be a week's worth of work of editing, of putting together the visual presentation that goes with the speech, to editing the speech itself, the order in what the pieces of design work are shown or quotes are read, and this is rehearsed over and over and over again, so I don't need notes, and I can present that in a passionate and interesting way. And I've had compliments every time I've given a lecture. I've had half a dozen students every single time. Different students come up to me and tell me how much they enjoyed my lecture, and I agree. I mean, it's not about feigning modesty. It's not about showing off or thinking I'm awesome, but I think it's okay to acknowledge when you've got skill and you're good at something, and having a presence as an educator and as a lecturer is something I've got as a creative individual with two degrees in design, postgraduate qualification in research and one in education. You know, I've got some knowledge, yo. Admittedly, my vocabulary is far less extensive than it used to be. I actually found that having the average human being has vocabulary on average over a lifetime doesn't use more than 2,000 words. I'd kind of worked out that I was using at the end of my PhD close to 5,000 words because of the specialist language, and I actually found that I use that in everyday use very complex words, terminology and sentence structure in everyday conversations, and actually people disliked me for it because they thought I was being arrogant or condescending, but in actual fact it was just I'd taught myself to think that way and talk that way because I needed to professionally, and it just, you know, as language is our primary language is one of many ways we communicate, but you know, that became my standard. So in actual fact, afterwards, and realizing the dislike I got because, you know, it was clear that it was evident that I was doctorate level educated, and people disliked me. So I uneducated myself. I stopped talking. I stopped using complex words, and I unlearned everything I could. So anyway, YouTube, a rising tide. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. So cheers.